Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
So we are live right now.
Okay.
So I want to wait a little for us. Okay.
Just 1 minute.
I want to, yes. Okay. Yes, we are live, and I want to say good evening to everyone on the Facebook page. As we mentioned earlier, tonight we'll be discussing economy, and we have distinguished personalities here that will talk to us, that will interact with on the aspect of economy, the Nigerian economy. The Nigerian economy is in a very bad shape right now. Before the COVID years, we had oil selling for barely 25 naira to a barrel in the world market. Now, the COVID pandemic has seen the oil taking a downward plunge to between 0 to 4 naira per barrel. Nigeria is practically begging the world to buy her oil as we
Oil
speak.
selling for barely 25
So,
naira.
what about the big companies? Presently, the big companies have started laying off many people. By the time this lockdown ends, we definitely will have thousands, if not millions, in the labor market. Just some days ago, a big bank in Nigeria laid off 700 of its staff. I know in coming weeks, many companies will follow suit. The small, medium enterprises is the worst hit. Then you can see them, struggling at its feet. I mean, struggling to find their feet. They are completely in oblivion. I take the words of Mr. Abiodun Adetola, who says the business landscape in Nigeria and globally can never be the same again with the with the COVID-19. With or without lockdown, let this stick. So I ask the question: what is the way forward for the country? What's the way forward for the SMEs? How do we re-engineer the economy back to what it used to be in the pre-COVID years? Joining me in this robust discussion are seasoned specialists in the field. We have engineer Professor Simon Itwange, a professor of agriculture from Benue State University. You're welcome, sir. We also have Mr. Abiodun Adetula, who is a business analyst. And then we have Mr. Olusegun Shaki, an engineer and current affairs analyst. The last but not the least, we have Mr. Frederick Aikatuame, who is the CEO, QC Investment Company. We welcome you all to this discussion this morning. First, I want to start with Mr. Abiodun Adetula. You said we should let it stick. The business landscape will never be the same again after COVID-19. Why did you say that?
Thank you very much for the question. Before, you mentioned that the bank, which was Access Bank, announced to the staff that about 75% of them will be laid off. And that is for the lower staff. For the professional staff, there will be salary cut and all that. That is just one of those banks and one of them that we want to be expecting. But that happened this week. But interestingly, this same week, something else happened in this country. And that is UBA. UBA had its first AGM online. UBA has been existing over 50 years, but for the first time, they had their AGM online. Everything was done online, and it was successful. They couldn't make that good, but this. And then also, I just read before I came online that in China they recorded the third billionaire in dollars in 2 weeks. So, what is happening? People, a lot of negative things will happen, and also it will come out at a lot of positive things will happen as well. I was listening to the person that convened the AGM of the UBA last night, and she said that it looks stressful, but at the end of the day, discovered that it's even much more cheaper to hold their AGM online than the way they've been doing it before. So going back to what I said, that the business landscape will never remain the same again because we cannot continue, or we will not be able to continue business the way it has always done before. Because as of now, there's fear. Even if there's no fear, even if we eventually got the vaccine, there will still be this restriction on social distancing and a whole lot of things that people are interested in before, that's 3 months ago, are not what they're going to be interested in anymore now. We never knew that what you are holding now might not have, probably you'd have called us together in one room to hold the same thing you are holding now, but now we are doing it online. So when I said that 2 or 3 days ago about the business landscape, is about the way we think about business, the way people respond to business, what people call needs before has changed, what called wants has changed. So the best that any entrepreneur can do now, especially for the SME or small and medium scale and young entrepreneurs, is to have the mindset that this, what is happening now, will be for a long time. Even if it's tough, that we remove lockdown, we cannot operate the way we were operating before. So we have to start checking our business model to start letting it align to the realities of our time. This is not the first time there will be a pandemic or epidemic. It changed a lot of things, and definitely things are going to change. In fact, they are already changing. So we should just start aligning our business and our thinking to the new realities. So it's not about a bleak future. It's about adjusting our realities or adjusting our systems and our business model to the realities that we are facing now and will soon be facing that will continue. So that's what I mean when I said that the business landscape will never be the same again.
Okay, thank you very much. Prof, the last time we discussed about the aspect of the Nigerian economy vis-a-vis the agri sector, I want you to shed more light in this. What's the state of the Nigerian economy presently as we speak?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, all right. We discussed about the current state of the of agriculture in Nigeria and how we couldn't invest or diversify the economy to agriculture because we thought that oil will always be there for us as a country. But other nations that have oil and had foresight and had good leaders saw beyond oil, and they diversified their economy early enough such that when you talk about oil glut, they are least affected, as it were. And I think this is what we ought to have done long time ago. I was at Expo organized by the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology. And I went there with 2 cartons of yams, 25 kilogram each. At that time, a carton in the US was going for something like $78. And I told them jokingly, and they laughed, that a barrel of yam is being sold much more now than a barrel of oil. So we have so much we can do in the area of agriculture in terms of revenue earnings for this country. And I think that now that COVID-19 has come and has shown clearly that oil is not sustainable. In fact, it was not even going to be sustainable in terms of technological advances. Of course, we were gradually moving away from oil. I mean, the technology and what is happening in the area of technology was a clear indication that oil in the next few years will cease to be important. Just like coal today, nobody talks about coal, but there was a time in our developmental history that coal became so important to the economy. Oil is going to become the coal of the future. You just make reference to it because we are moving to alternatives in terms of renewable energy and other sources of energy. So I think very seriously that COVID-19 has come to show us that we need to really diversify this economy and begin to think about agriculture.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, talking about diversification, I want to ask Mr. Shegun Ishaki, what are we diversifying into right now that will help the common man in the street make his money?
Okay. Yeah, I was a bit jolted when our prof was talking about oil that is going to fizzle out. It's not going to generate income in the near future.
Well, you are in the oil industry.
Good as that observation is, I don't think it will play out the way the prof said it, because
okay,
I have worked in the oil industry for about 34 years.
Okay.
And I worked in the sector of the economics of oil. So we study the curve of demand and supply of oil.
Okay.
Oil is an inelastic product, but sometimes situation creates variation. We call it waves in the trend of the curve of oil supply and demand. So what we are seeing is a very temporary kind of situation in oil market.
You think it will come back? The oil boom
it will come back, but it will not get to where it was before.
Okay.
You know, it has been going down. Okay. Generally, worldwide, demand for oil has been going down. but it will not be at this zero level it is now. It will still jump up because there are still so many things that we use oil for globally.
Okay.
And they have not got alternative for those ones, for heating, for so many other things. See, tomorrow the airplanes are still depending on oil. And that's the aviation industry is an industry you cannot toy with.
Okay.
I have the opinion that yes, we have to look for alternatives to oil because even our reserve, in the next 20 years, we won't have oil in Nigeria again. We know that in the oil industry because everybody is just scraping what is remaining now. The days of Agbame and all the other big reservoirs, they are going gradually to an end. We are not like Iran or Iraq, where they have these big reservoirs. It's going to come to an end. And we are not acting as fast as Prof said. We ought to have started acting like 30 years ago. So the situation I feel we should face now, or the things we should do now, is that we should look at manufacturing. Yes, agric is fantastic. We have a lot of good land, a large number of labor. We don't even need to look for labor externally to really practice agriculture. We have the land there. But I feel what is carrying our money is technology. We are the one that fed China fat. Recently, some people are quarreling that there was a museum in China that they were likening a black man to a monkey. And people were quarreling. And I just laughed at them. You fed them fat. They have eaten your money. They are fat, so they can compare you because they look at you as a monkey truly, because only a monkey that will stay for like 100 years will not learn new things, will not change behavior. Well, the person may be racist, but he's making some sort of sense. When I was young, we have the textile factory in Nigeria. We have Michelin in Nigeria. We have Toyota. So many other industries in Nigeria. We used to have industrial estates. All of a sudden, our government policy changed. They made it so difficult for the textile factory to run. They said they should run on local yarn. Our yarn is not suitable for weaving clothes, for God's sake. They're not long. I worked in the textile industry at that time. I think you may know about that. You understand now? Their machines cannot use our yarn because they are short and they clog into it. So our government is making life difficult for those who are manufacturing. But if we want to survive, it's not only on agriculture that we are going to survive. I got to Central Africa. I was on mission in Burundi. I've got to Kenya. I've got to Sweden. Many people are doing agric. So if you say you want to do agric at big market, we have too many competitors. So Ghana is there for us to also tackle us. But there are some advantages we still have now that they don't have. We have population. That was what China had. That made them to overrule US. US was carrying their factories to China because of cheap labor. And they went to feed them with their money. And they took their technology from them. So I looked at our foolishness recently. I bought a Binaton fan from ShopRite for 18,000 naira. When I carried the Binaton fan home, it could not run fast. I got annoyed. I went out to buy another one that is made in China. That one runs fast. But by the time it spends 6 months, it is dead. Then I said, what is it? I opened the fan because I'm an engineer. What is inside this fan that we cannot make in Nigeria? I look at it. It's just coil. Anybody can make coil. I used to remember those days when I buy a ceiling fan, when it goes burnt, China ceiling fan, I take it to my local rewinder. He will rewind it. That fan will last like 10 years. Nigerian rewinder rewinds it. Why can we not do just a simple fan? Just a coil and a former and a simple magnet. Why can't we do that?
Okay, it's okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Fred, I can tell me. you have heard about the things we need to diversify into. Now, how will that help those in the SMEs? Because we now understand that the jobs are no longer there. By the time the doors are open next week, Monday, these people will get into their shops and their small companies to find out that the things are no longer what they used to be. How can they now stage a comeback?
Okay, thank you. I actually believe that for every crisis, there is an opportunity to create wealth. I believe crises give us a room for us to actually look at things differently. We had actually been used to a particular narrative, but now that we have an emergency situation in management, sometimes when we are in charge of organization, when a company is used to a particular pattern, there are issues we call emergent issues. When they come in, they try to adopt new strategies to survive. So I think for every organization coming out of COVID, there's need for them to actually force to reassess their situation and come up with strategy that they can now deploy to survive. I listened to Mr. Shagun talking about when they were growing up, and I'm thinking, okay, we're in a new millennial age that did not actually knew what happened when they were growing up, and for the millennials that we have now, they can rely on three major things to survive: technology, information, and strategy. And if business are going to thrive faster, each SME, each business owner needs to come up with the right technology as that his company can ride upon, so that it can better its service or product. And at the same time, now that we are in an era of we don't know how long the social distancing policy is going to last or situation is going to last, see how it can actually reach customers where actually they are. Luckily, some people actually thrive better during this COVID issue. We had people, let me just take, for example, I actually watch out for some sole proprietor entrepreneur on Facebook, social media. Those who do cooking at home, make small chops and supply. I realized that many of them actually did not stop their businesses. Rather, they were able to find ways to partner with some of these courier companies to do home delivery to most of their customers, while they were using the social media to actually do marketing. So, and before now, they might not have thought of such options. So, the crisis actually have given them a new orientation that they can actually deliver without they having to leave their house to go and deliver their food like many of them used to do before. That they can save time for themselves by relying on not just technology, they can also rely on partnership, collaboration with other organizations that have been underutilized, or other organizations that we feel at the time they were going on into extinction. For example, the courier service at the time, we assumed they were going into extinction because everybody had to do mailing and all of that. And when the Uber came, All-Right came, people decided to use other means for transportation. But at this point, those who are actually in the courier services, delivery services, have to up their game and see how they can collaborate with us, this SME, to get to your customer. Then there's a need for information. I believe two things. Yes, companies are going to lay off some staff. In fact, I have about 28 independent staff. Over the last 2 weeks, we were thinking of should we tell some people to stay back home because we can't.
How many of them have you laid off?
We can't.
Tell me the truth. How many have you laid off?
We have not decided yet on
By Monday you decide.
We've not decided yet until they meet on Tuesday. We decide. But the truth remains is that not everybody actually have the capacity to start and own businesses. So if people who have been laid off now decide to start to own businesses, many may actually eat the rock and go far under than this present situation they are. So I believe what everybody should do, aside the fact that we have technology, they should seek for the best information that will enable them develop the capacity to thrive, either as individuals who have just left job, who just left job, as companies just coming to meet a situation so that they can actually better service to their customers.
Now, Mr. Adetula, you have heard that we need technology, we need information. And the other time I was discussing with Mr. Ishakin off stage that there are women who do not have phones, men who do not have phones, women in the villages, men in the villages, the remote areas where they cannot even connect. We don't even have service providers in some of these villages. And you want to thrive in the midst of this technological advancement. What hope do we have for such people?
Okay, I will start with a quote that Bill Gates said. He said that if you have an efficient process, technology will magnify the efficiency. But if you have an inefficient process, then technology will magnify the inefficiency. Technology is good, but technology is not an end on its own. It's a means to an end. I think what we should be looking at, but I quickly jotted down, is in this COVID-19 season and post-COVID-19 season, every business person in the village or wherever it is, it's not about phone, it's not about technology per se, it's about knowing what part of the market do they want to play, who are their target markets they are looking at as of today, and which type of market are they looking at. Basically, we can divide, in my own experience, everything that people are looking for, the type of customers you're looking for, you could group them into four. Then you target the ones that you're looking at. One, people that don't have money, they want a particular thing and they cannot afford the regular pricing as it is today. So they are looking for getting the same similar service or product at a very cheap price. Then one group of people. Another group of people are those that need access to some information or to some business opportunities and all that which they don't have, and which your own business might be in a position to be able to help. The third type of people are people that need skills to achieve their goals. And that's where I fall in, because I help companies to achieve the skills they need to achieve their objectives. So that's another thing that people are looking for, skills. Like now we have people that have been laid off. They need some stuff. If they want to go into business as good as it is, I tell people don't go into any business until you're so sure, because you will use your money to learn and you will burn all your money. So some people need skills. Then the last type of people are people that want to save time. The money is not the issue, but time. They want to get what they want to get done on time. So we need every entrepreneur has to look at which part am I playing? What do I need to achieve my goal among the set of my target market? Then that is when technology will not be coming in. I won't get technology. There's a lot of people that are on social media, which we help people to build. People on social media, they have no business on social media. There are people that have websites that they don't have any business on website because they're just burning money, no visits, no conversion of leads, and yet they are spending money every year on websites. So first of all, you need to know the type of people you are looking for. Where can you find them? What exactly do they need? Then we now start looking for what do I need to achieve? That's where we look at which type of technology. As long as we call it a business opportunity, we call it that means that after you are putting everything you want to put in and people are willing to pay for it, you are going to make a profit on top. Then technology will not be an issue. If those people need technology, if you need technology to get to those people, then you have to start thinking of how best can I achieve with the amount that I have to reach those people. So technology is important, But more important, like what they say, more important is knowing the needs of your people or the needs of your target
Great.
market. Know exactly which part that you want to feel. Like now, for example, now I was telling somebody last night that I had for more than almost about 6 weeks now. My clothes have been with the dry cleaner. I have not collected them. They called me. I said, I don't need those clothes now. They should keep it. It's not about money. That even if I go to collect them, I don't need them. So even if I go to pick them up, I'm not going to give another one because my dress style has changed. So if I'm working in the dry cleaning business, I will start thinking of who are the people that need my services now. Maybe I'm thinking of the what do you call it now? The clinics, the hospitals, that so which I can help them to focus on what is important to them, and all those things that are not important, which is laundry and everything, laundry, fumigation, all those things. I want to start seeing how I can focus on that. So I won't be doing, for example, now Mr. Fred talked about people that are doing home delivery. The truth is that it's beginning to boom now because a lot of people want to have access to those which they cannot do on their own. So they're already meeting the need. And luckily, we have dispatchmen that are helping them to deliver those goods and services. So those type of people already, I wanted their position. They are just lucky that they are in that field where people need. So we have to start thinking, everybody, all of us as entrepreneurs, what is in my field? What exactly are people looking for? I can't sell want anymore. I have to say I can turn my want into a need. Until it becomes a need, people may not bother buying it. For example, now, I said I'm not going to spend money on anything. But in the last 2 days, I've spent a lot of money getting some things because those are the things that I know I need for this period.
Okay.
And somehow, I'm thinking of other people now. Other people might need that. So let me identify what people in my target market need and let me do it. Then technology will come in if I need technology. But more importantly, let me know the need and how I want to meet those needs. Then every other thing can come. Yes.
Thank you very much. Yes, we should identify the needs, and that's very vital. Prof, I want you to respond to what Paul Dada has said in his comment. He said, Awolowo developed the then Western Nigeria with revenue from cocoa.
Yeah.
Those days, the regional government thrived on their natural resources. Today, we earn foreign exchange mostly from oil, yet we have natural resources untapped. Ondo State has the largest deposit of bitumen in the world, next to Venezuela. We need purposeful leadership in this country. Can you respond to this, sir?
Yeah, the issue of leadership is very key, and we cannot, overemphasize that we need good leadership in this country. And the leadership recruitment process in this nation, it's a big challenge. And perhaps, we are hoping that in the future, young people will come together because this is all about the youth. We are here talking about SMEs, talking about the fact that people are being laid off. Companies are finding new ways of doing things. I was just discussing with you shortly before COVID, a particular organization had paid for my air ticket to travel for a meeting. And usually they will fly me into the meeting, fly me back, accommodate me, feed me. And then suddenly they discovered that can't we even have this meeting online? And then we held the meeting online and they only paid us sitting allowance. I know you are not going to pay me, but they paid us good some money. But before in addition,
Prof, all the ones I've been paying over how many years at Suzuka. Okay, let's not go there. Prof,
in addition to the sitting allowance, they will fly you, they will feed you, they will accommodate you. Now they have found a better way of doing this without that cost. So you can be sure going forward, they are not going to be flying people to come and hold meetings, that will impact on the airline industry. That will also impact on hospitality industry.
The sweepers, even the sweepers,
Yes,
the people
down
that
to, so a lot of things will change going forward. And my worry is that already we have a very huge unemployment problem in this country. And if the people that already have jobs are being laid off, and it's going to further compound the unemployment problem we have in Nigeria. And we really need to think very quickly on how we can get our country working again. We really need to look at models that we can put in place and see how we can get this economy running. And like you said, agriculture, I don't want to argue with Shegun, but
agriculture is key.
it's very clear.
Let's face the fact.
I'm not really opposing agriculture.
I know, the oil.
But the government will have seen it, and everybody is looking at that direction, and there's a direction that we have to also consider. We don't eat only food. We consume so many things, especially technology.
People feel that
and it's wasting all our dollars. So
Shegun, Shegun, people feel that the oil industry is too big to fail. That was why Donald Trump had to come in, talk to Russia, talk to Saudi Arabia, and ask them to cut down, because he too is looking at saving jobs in Alaska and, in Texas and so on and so forth. So, yes, the oil industry may be too big to fail, but if we look at what is going on, we really need to go back and look at agriculture that provides most of the raw materials we need for industrialization.
Of course.
So we really need to go back to basics. I have done, for example, an EOP for 1 hectare under yam. We came to about 1.5 million naira per hectare. Now the offtake price for yam that you are going to produce from 1.5 million, 1 hectare, is 3 million naira. But for you to do 1 hectare, you need a lot of hands. For yam, for example, everything it's there is no aspect of it that is under mechanization.
Yeah, it's manual.
That's the unfortunate thing about yam production. But we are working towards seeing what we can do in bringing in some aspects of mechanization. But everything from beginning to the end is manual. So you can imagine the number of people you are going to take off the streets just by putting 1 hectare of land under yam. So agriculture is an area that can take this number, because we are going to have so many young people on the streets because the jobs are not going to be there. As you said, some of these banks are already laying off staff. So my own suggestion going forward will be that we should think agriculture, and we advise the young people to come together. Our educational system has not also helped matters. I remember teaching entrepreneurship as a course, and I was teaching this course to all the students in engineering, mechanical, civil, electrical, agric, and I had to put a student in mechanical, in civil, in electrical, in all the engineering disciplines, I put them together in a team. And I ask them to come up with an enterprise, something they can work upon. And because we teach our students a project is individual, everything is individual, assignment is individual. We don't give them
no collaborative efforts at all.
We don't give them group projects. But outside the university system, you have to work with people. And I think this is what is lacking. Our students, when they graduate, if we give them assignments, if they are working as individuals, they do very well. But when you put them in a group to work together, they don't seem to have that same level of performance. So it will be good for young people to come together. 5 of you can come together and think, what can we do? Pull your resources together. And I think in the music industry it's easier, because we see many of these musicians, they come together, they form a team. When they become big, then they can begin to go on their own. But most of our graduates, they come out, they don't have this ability to work in teams. And maybe because we did not train them at the university level in working, in teams, they are all on their own. I will advise going forward that they should come together, put their little resources together, and see how they can start small businesses. It may not necessarily be in agriculture, but they can start something that they can, help themselves. Otherwise, if we are looking for jobs, look at Oresanye report. The president has just approved that some of these organizations should be merged. And I think there are about 112 of them. Okay? So by the time you start having mergers and, doing away with some of them, because actually many of them are a duplication. If you look at their mandate, it's just a duplication. You find out that we are going to have more job losses. So we think that we can go back to agriculture, but while we are also looking at areas of technology, like we have also been told.
Thank you very much, sir. You have said that succinctly. We should go back to agriculture. But now, Mr. Shegun, we have a teeming youth out there that have been unleashed on us. Unleashed in the sense that they have nothing doing. But of course, they do have a tool, which is their phone, the internet. How do we leverage on the internet as young people?
Well, internet, I'm not an expert at communication, but I know internet offers a large range of information. I had a church history book in my library. Till my house got burnt and the book got burnt, I never read it. Recently, when this lockdown came, I opened my YouTube and I saw a church history video. Under 2 hours, the book that is around 400 pages was narrated to me with pictures, with summarized, and I read everything. That is the power of the internet. You can learn anything. Since this lockdown started, I've learned 2 softwares in my own profession. Now I've started trying my hand to use them. So the internet offers a lot range of information, especially in manufacturing. I harped on manufacturing. It's not because I don't like farming, although I ran away from farming anyway. I tried it. When I got to the bush, I was thinking of, if a bigness come now, what do I do? So I ran. But if we look at technology, we can get so much information on the internet. We can look at the products. I'm just giving some information. We can look at the products that we are using in Nigeria today, ranging from radio, fan, computer and all these small things, we spend a lot of money on technology than any other thing. If we start picking them one by one, searching for information on the internet on how they are produced, we can learn how to produce them, and we start producing them. We don't have to organize a factory to produce anything. I was in India some years back. I learned a lot of lessons because that's one of the advantages of traveling. I was going in, I went to Madras and I went to Andhra Pradesh. I saw that India don't have big factories. They have small one plot factories. You understand now? So business, that is what they do. It's only very few that you see that are large companies in India. Most of their products are from small houses. Everybody has his own factory. A factory will just have like 5 people, and they have heavy machines there. I went to where they are producing Bajaj. I went to where they are producing all these granites that we are buying with a lot of money here. How they cut them. They are operated by only 4 people in just a house, and they are producing a large number of it. Go to China too. I've not been to China. I'm planning to go there to learn all this because I want to really be a mill owner. If Lord God prolongs my life, I want to start producing things because that is what we need. If the youths can decide to start have that ambition of becoming manufacturers, we will soon jettison all the fake products, shift into our country. We'll be able to manufacture our own and sell. Then we will also learn to always patronize our own. Let's learn from Chivita. Government banned fruit drinks. Chivita started producing it in Nigeria. Are they not sustaining themselves now? We have biscuits, different kinds of biscuits that the government said they should not bring in. People are not producing it. Once that gap is created, people will feel it. So if our people also start consuming what we are producing in Nigeria, you're saying now, we will start producing them. You understand now? Yes. Inculcate in the minds of the young people. And it starts from when they are very, very young. My younger brothers, 2 of them are engineers today. How did they become engineers? When I was studying physics, I gave them nail corn and carbon to study. When I performed my experiment, I involved them in it. In fact, there was a time that they had electric shock. They were electrocuted when they are working on coils.
I hope they didn't die.
No, they didn't die. Then they are, they did now.
you know, when you said they electrocuted.
That really brought them that idea. You understand now? And they love that profession. And today they are working as engineers. Then they doing electronics, pure electronics. You understand now? So we should start from this. Our young people. Our young people now, we are involved. We are influencing them to be a footballer. Easy cash. It is what is bringing cash, very fast cash, that we are trying to push them into. Music. I'm not saying music is bad. Don't get me wrong, sir. You're saying we like cash and something. It doesn't help. Let's learn how to use our hand to do things.
You mean music doesn't help or what?
No, I said we should not concentrate too much of our children on quick cash projects.
Okay.
You can easily blow. Under 2 years, you are blown. In manufacturing,
no, it's bad. It's bad. It's very bad.
Yeah, and it's this quick cash thing that the children are. So we should change their orientation. Start producing. Let's ban most of those unnecessary things. We are importing toothpick, for God's sake. We are importing shirt. There are so many people at Ariara in Aba that can sew very nice shirts. Why are we importing it, for God's sake? Are we crazy? There are so many flimsy things that the Chinese are bringing. Toys, unnecessary toys, and we are buying it with a lot of money. Why are we doing that? We should ban all those things. Anything that is not really, that cannot be produced here, should not be imported here.
It's okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Fred, you have been working with youths all your life as much as I can remember. And I know you are very passionate about young people. Yeah. The other time I saw young people creating beautiful technological tools, like the drones, like a helicopter. In fact, some of them created the ventilator. Yes. But the government is not looking towards that end at all. And what we just see is that they create these things, and that is where it ends. No rich man takes them up to see how to help them. Now, if they do not help them, how can they help themselves?
Okay. What I would say
No,
is that,
I'm talking of Fred. Fred.
okay.
Okay. Starting from what Prof said earlier, in terms of leadership, it still boils down to leadership. I'm just going to say four things. Number one, unfortunately for us as a country, we have leaders that are not visionary. We have leaders for the moment who just want things for themselves now and their family because of greed and their own selfish ends. So, as a result of this, we lack visionary leaders. Then, number two, even where we have leaders that are visionaries, that are visionaries, they don't know, they lack the know-how. Sorry to say, as generally in Nigeria, we don't know how things are done. We feel things should be done our own way, forgetting that there are best practices for everything. We leave this part of best practices, this part of ethic, and we feel it must be done our way. The world don't work according to our way. There is a process, there is a pattern for success. You cannot live, except for the exceptionally gifted child. You can't jump from primary one to year one in the university, except for the exceptionally gifted child, who will still even have to go through some processes to develop those mental skills. Number three, we also have leaders. Yes, we have leaders that do not understand what national development is all about. The COVID situation has actually brought that furthermore to limelight. Look at our health sector. Apparently, there is no form of development. There is no form of inputs. All the successes we've made so far has been individual input. If we go back to the time of Ebola, thank God for that devil. Today we're having medical people putting their life at risk. We have some states where salaries are being cut 25%. All of these factors put together is not giving room for young people to be encouraged to actually commit to the development of this nation. Then number two, young people, because of this poor leadership trend, they are seeking for greener pastures outside this country. And the best of us that normally should stay back, those of us who have gone through personal trainings, all kind of capacity building, are now running away because we don't have a system that rewards diligence. We don't also have a system that rewards hard work. We don't have a system that rewards creativity. And if we take our art, the entertainment sector, it's because they have been able to come together to create a system, a pattern that works for them through concerts, through brand ambassadorship, sign-on, and all of that. And they are able to appeal to the relieve emotional psyche of people. They are thriving today. By the time we take all of that away, what eventually happened to us? That sector will come as dead as any other sector. The last thing I also need us to understand is this: development will thrive on capacity of its citizen. When our young people lack capacity, presently now, I'm not sure if we take a little look at the Senate, House of Assembly, we have people in their 40s and thereabout. The question I ask myself, have they actually fared any better than those who were there in their 60s and 70s? No. Because number one, when the capacities of people are not developed, either in leadership, in business, or whatsoever, we cannot have growth. We cannot have development. And that brings us back to something that Mr. Shegun was trying to say: education. In the 80s, our education system had, I don't know if it's
Hello. It has. Okay. I guess.
Power.
Okay. You're back.
Okay.
Now.
Okay. I don't know if it's a deliberate attempt by. Yes, I'm back. I can hear you. I don't know if it's deliberate attempt by those in power, those in leadership position, to actually cripple our educational sector. So if young people are not educated, how do they build capacity? The few who are thriving, they are thriving on a quick fix syndrome, quick fix mentality. And if you thrive on a quick fix mentality, you cannot sustain wealth through that process. At the end of the day, you get to a particular point because you do not have the expertise, and we have not been taught on collaboration, like we said earlier. They just crash halfway. You see people thrive 2-3 years in business, 5-6 years down the line, they are nowhere to be found. Because at the point they got into the business, the kind of capacity they have was not enough to sustain. So the quick fix mentality. So if our young people must take the lead, it behoves us therefore. It behoves us therefore for those of us who have gotten experience, for those of us who are practicing, as it behoves us therefore to engage our corporations, because we can't rely on government. Seriously, sorry to say, we cannot rely on our present government. We need to rely on corporation. We need to appeal to corporation to create programs like incubation programs that allow young people to come and incubate the idea with them and grow. If they cannot give them money, let them support them. I want to see GTB, Sterling Bank doing much more than Big Brother rubbish, doing much more than all these reality program, and take each chunk of that fund, incubate, sandbox ideas, and see how they can get these people to grow. Finally, I also feel we need a paradigm shift from this national cake syndrome, from this quick fix syndrome. Everybody wants to get wealth now. Our young people need to be retrained. They need to unlearn. They need to relearn that life is a process, and there are principles that back up every stage of this process if we must actually develop and achieve anything as a society.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Adetu, by Monday, the gates will be opened, and we'll all be told to, move out, no lockdown again. And here is someone that may have lost practically everything, and he wants to start afresh with little or no, capital to start with. Can you run us through the process of how he can actually grow this thing back to at least being able to depend on something for a living?
Okay, I'll start firstly with what Jack Ma said, I think yesterday also, that if you can survive this COVID-19 season, we are not sick, we don't have coronavirus, eventually we did not die, that on its own is profit. So firstly is that everybody, no matter the situation, no matter how bad it is that we want to survive. Because it's only when we are alive and we are healthy that we can start talking about becoming productive or trying to do something with our lives. So that as it may, I think the first thing is if somebody has found himself in that situation, firstly, if we look at people that he wants to make sure that the people that depend on him most, or the people that are close to him most, that he is in sync with them. You're looking at a married man or a wife. First of all, you want to make sure that you have the support of your family, because for creativity to thrive, you have to create that environment. If everywhere is stressed, if you are under harsh environment, then you might be very difficult. So firstly, you want to make sure that you create that environment, which firstly with the people that are very close to you, they understand the situation as we are in now. We are going to tighten our bed for some time, where we are trying to get our feet. Then two, we look at maybe commitments. Cash. Cash must not be put it now. You don't want to run out of cash. So,
but there's no cash now.
But there was what I'm trying to say is that whether there's cash or there's no cash, if somebody is inside the hole, you don't want to continue digging if you want to come out.
Okay.
So which means that everything that is consuming money, you may have to stop most of them. You have to start thinking of negotiating with people that you have indebted to. Everybody, you have to understand that at this moment, the first thing that you want to be alive. You want to be able to think. So anything, maybe we talk of DSTV, we talk of data, whatever it is. That means if you're going to go online, you're going there for the purpose, not because you want to be changing status like people do now. You want to go there because you want to learn something or you want to get opportunity. So anything that will burn money, you want to stop it. Some of us are overweight, so maybe we have to reduce the number of times that we eat. There's no big deal. It's even healthy for us. So
are you talking to somebody here?
That
Okay.
as it were. So that's the first thing, that you want to make sure that you stop all the leakages.
Okay.
You want to stop burning cash. That's the first thing. There's no cash. Number two is that the person will have to look at how many years it's been working for, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. What experience have you gathered? That's the next thing you'll be thinking of now. Because if you are thinking of a job, it's going to be difficult to get another job. Because the company you are looking at are thinking about to lay off workers. So it's not about job that we are thinking of now. If job comes, fine. Is what? Opportunities. But opportunities will only come when there's preparation. So the question is, what have I learned how to do? So I have to start looking at that. So is there any product that I can start working on? I don't need to have money to do this. What I need to have mainly is to have the clarity of what I want to do. Most likely there are 1, 2, 3 people that are doing it already that you may have to partner with, and you just want to help, because the first thing, you have to be able to put food on the table. That's the most important thing, because when there's so much pressure, every entrepreneur knows that you cannot think when there's pressure. It's difficult for you to do anything when the bills are coming, the kids have not eaten, whatever. So you have to, first of all, make that you want to get something on the table. So, like I said, look at all the skills you have gathered in so many years. And like I tell people, look at out of all of them, list them. Which one do you think that people might be willing to pay for? It could be in trading, it could be in selling, or whatever it is. Which one? So if that would direct us to know which one is it that during this period and after this period, it might be necessary or it might be important. So how can I build an opportunity or a business around this? I may have to look for companies that are doing it now. For example, there's a friend of mine that told me a story of somebody that came from the UK. He came to Nigeria to work. He knew the company clearly he wants to work. He got to the company, they said there's no opportunity. But he knew he was going to work in that company. So he looked at what the company is doing. He looked at where the company is missing it. He looked at the opportunities that the company stand to gain. And he went back and said, you don't have to pay me anything. If I create value for you, then we'll talk about whether you will pay me or not. Every business, I keep telling people, every business, if you go, no matter how bad it is now, if somebody comes to you as an entrepreneur and says that he can help you to make more money without you spending money, every business owner, as long as it's legitimate, will jump into it. So you want to see, out of all these companies, what can you do that you can help a company to grow at this point in time? And if you can create money for a business, what we call value, if you can create value for a business, then being paid will not be an issue, because they're going to be paying you from the value that you have created. But you cannot create value when you don't even know what exactly the skills that you have gotten. You know that which one can sell. Look for the industry. If you want to work, look for the industries that may need your skill and see how you can package yourself to work with them and willing to volunteer until they can see the potential value that you want to create. Then we can start negotiating your your pay. At first, you may be the first one just for you to get to get the leverage that you need, not necessarily because of the money. So while you are doing that, you have to think of what or other things that you can do to put food on the table. So in summary, firstly, make sure that you stop cash leakage. If you don't have money, whether you have or you don't have anything that is going to make you to spend more money, you want to stop it. If you are in a hole and you want to come out, you don't continue to dig. You stop digging. Number two, you build the relationship with your family, because they are very, very important at this point in time, to make sure that they give you all the supporting mechanism that you need. Then with all maybe creditors or all the people that you are indebted to, you want to create that they should give you that time while you sort yourself out. Now that you have done this, You want to be able to get something, no matter how funny or whatever it is, to be able to put food on the table. While you are doing that, you're not thinking of all the skills that you have gathered and see which one is marketable. Am I going to go into business? And like Mr. Feder said, you cannot be rushing into business if you have not business before. So you have to think of maybe working with somebody that's doing similar business and be willing to offer your expertise. And while at that, you are also learning to build your own business. But what you'll be thinking of is creating value. No company will employ because you have CBA or you have worked somewhere before. They will only be thinking of employing now because you want to help them to create value. Okay. I was talking with a sole proprietor yesterday, a sole proprietors of a school, proprietors of a school. And I was saying that as of now, what you should be thinking of now is how to make sure that by the time you guys resume, how to make sure that you give people option of schooling online, and how to maybe doing lesson that you have to say how you can bring your school online. I said big schools are already doing that, but most of the people, because of what has happened in COVID-19, a lot of people might not be able to have that money to pay for those big schools. If they can scale a school that can give the same service like those big schools at a fraction, then they will be jumping at it. And I told her one thing. I said, look, even if you don't have the skills that you need to put your school online, to be prepared online, look for somebody that has it. So which means that somebody will get a job in the next 1 week or 2 weeks because that's the skill that people need. So exactly. I have to be able to say, I can market my skill to help people to, I can turn my skill into value that people can see and can be able to create value. But this will take time. So while you're trying to build that, or while you're trying to articulate that, look for how to put food on the table. However you want to do that, that's the most important thing. It doesn't matter what the business is. Some of us have done crazy things before when we lost jobs or when we have challenges. It's no big deal. As long as we are not stealing and we are not doing anything legitimate, do whatever it is to put food on the table while you are trying to articulate your skills and look for businesses that you can work with or join or whatever you want to do. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Very, very insightful. Now, Prof, Nigeria has been given the loan at last, IMF loan. There's nothing we can do about it. We were never consulted, yet they went ahead to take the loan. And they said that they took the loan because of us, because of the people. Now, if you were to advise Nigeria on how that loan should be spent, what would you tell Nigeria right now? Prof.
There's nothing wrong in taking loan, especially if we're taking that loan for investment. Those of us in the university system that belong to thrift and cooperative societies, unfortunately, when we take loans, we want to buy a car, a good one. We want to build a house. And these are things that from day one, it's
Hello. Can you hear me? We seem to have lost Prof.
Not going to create when you start spending. If we collect, hello, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Hello?
Yes, we're hearing you now. Sir.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear
so
you.
it depends on, it depends on what, it depends on what we are using those monies for. And I think for us as a country, we have not spent such monies well. We spend it on consumption, we spend it on overhead costs, and these monies have not been able to serve us as a nation. This last one, it was after the loan was approved that the Senate President said that they should contact the Minister of Finance to find out the details of what the loan is all about. So the people that took the loan on our behalf or approved it on our behalf did not even have the details of what the money is all about, and they were now asking that they should interface with the finance minister to find out what it's all about. So if we take loans and we invest, that is good. And it's one way also I will encourage our young people. I'm very particular about our young people. We keep turning out graduates year in, year out. Many of them are just walking around on the streets. There are no jobs, and unfortunately, they don't also have the skills to create jobs, the skills that Biodun is talking about. They don't even have the skills to be able to create jobs for themselves.
The lines seem to be
if
Wow, it's totally went off.
wow. Now, but I think you can take it off from where he started, the way Mr. Shaki. Skills.
Yeah. Okay. What I think I'm thinking along Prof. Actually, I am risk averse. I don't like loans. In fact, I can tell you that most of the things I've ever acquired in life were acquired with equity, because the loan is punishment. You'll be paying a lot of the money that you pay in servicing loan alone can wreck your opportunity in developing the country. And I know that our leaders are not yet, but I'm talking from experience, I may be wrong. They are not yet mature and disciplined enough to invest any money they lay their hands on something concrete. Number one, if they want to take a loan, they should have made a plan. We have 10-year plan, we have 5-year development plan, that they will say, okay, this is what we want to use the loan for. There's no plan. If I want to take a loan, it's either I have got a building plan, that I want to build a house, and I've bought the land.
They have a plan. No. Mr. Shakin, they have a plan.
What is the plan?
Yes, I at least the two plan is to cushion the effect of the COVID pandemic. That's number one. And the second plan also is to assist the people who are in the medium or low economy, especially those who are the SMEs. But that was the thing that they said.
Well, I will accept what you say, but from practice,
I read it from the news, so I didn't. I'm not with their panel.
From practice,
I read it from the news, just like any other person.
You know, my profession is town planning. I study planning. You understand? I work with Lagos State during that day. Those are the people that I knew that made plans. You understand now? After their own generation, I've never seen any plan apart from Lagos, and I give kudos to them. It's only Lagos that have been making plans. Although I see Kano recently, I can see the hand of plan there, and probably Abuja. The rest, we have been making plans for industries, creating industrial estate, all this wise. I've never seen anything done. The railway, whatever that they are revamping, is China they are bringing in to come and do it again. So to me, I feel all these ones now, you get loan for investments, not to spend. That is why I said that thing that if I want to take a loan, I take it for something I want to do now that will bring back the money. especially the interest. You understand now? All these things you have just enumerated now, I can't see anything that is investment there. I don't think we need loan for the SMEs. I will tell you the reason why. The amount of tax those who are working are paying a loan in a year is not, maybe it's even greater than the loan they are going to take. I don't know. I might be wrong, but I know it's a huge amount of money. I know
there was a time the federal government did something like the trader money now.
Yes.
And that was, at least it came down to the SMEs really benefiting from it. It was a loan thing, and I don't know if people are even repaying that loan.
Yeah, but are we seeing the effect? Is it worth the while taking another loan where we can really garner the money? In fact, I will gladly pay and increase VAT if they are going to invest it on SME. I'm telling you, I personally will do that. Because let me tell you something. Sorry that I'm always mentioning this. I've gone to some countries. I was in a communist country. You know what they do for their citizens? They build houses. Everybody live in free houses. Everybody get monthly allowance. So you see, if you are built in our own mind that all you need to do is food in your stomach every day and a place to put your head, and you're not looking for any wealth, there'll be no reason for you to gather everybody's money and keep. If the government can provide basic amenities for us, you say now, we will work hard and make money by ourselves. Why are people poor? It's because of their daily expense is too great for their income, so they could not have any amount left to invest. That is why we are poor. Why are the European countries, or let me say America,
Adetula said so.
Yes.
We keep digging.
Yes. So we don't need loan for those people. Government has a lot of money in their coffers. They have a lot of money.
Imagine how much really came into the COVID coffers. I don't even know what they're doing.
You can see that. See the large amount of money. So nobody can now come and tell me at this age, because I've been old in this country. I have seen many days.
Baba,
they are giving. I think to me they are not genuine enough. I think anybody can just come that they want to use a loan. They just give you a political reason or a plausible reason, something that you believe. They don't need the loan for that. But to me, they have taken the loan. We are going to pay back the loan. Sorry,
whether you like it or not, we will pay back the loan.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm saying this. We are already an outgoing generation. Me, I may not be able to pay part of this thing. How many days more do I have? But the younger ones are the ones that are going to pay that loan. But me, I'm not afraid of any loan. We have taken loan in the past. Babangida took loan. Obasanjo came, cleared the loan, and we even have reserve. You see, one waster will come and go. Another good person will come and just salvage us.
Yeah, the thing.
Yes. You understand now? Countries have been taking loan. Brazil took loan, did Marco Polo, did so many things with the loan. You understand now? They are recovering now. We are seeing the fruit of their loan. All we just want is somebody who is reasonable enough to invest those loans on things that we can see infrastructure,
practical projects,
power. In fact, I don't know why we cannot make power, for God's sake.
Yes, Paul, that mentioned the aspect of power. Nobody is mentioning power.
Yes, I will jump up. I'll say, yes, we are getting there. But they don't have to even take loan for power, because power has been privatized. Power has been privatized. Okay. And I don't know why a country like Nigeria, so small like Nigeria, cannot have continuous power when India was having continuous power. And they are as poor as we are. But they are having, every village that I visited when I went there, they had power, they have water in any bush. So what has befallen us? And it's just this quest for converting public money for private use. If we can move from our mentality of I want to acquire wealth, you don't need the wealth to. Do you know that? If this COVID kills somebody now, he will leave everything he has with. Will he not?
He will.
He will leave it. So why are you cornering everything?
Amassing things that
and
at the
every
end.
person in Europe does not think of building mansion. No. They don't even think of building a house. Once they can feed their stomach, they don't even think of a car. The train is there. You understand now? They earn their living till they die, and the retirement benefits is there, and the free health is there. They don't need to steal any money. That's why they don't steal. You wonder why they don't steal in Europe or in all those advanced countries. It's because they are taken care of. So they use the rest of their brain to think of inventions. That is why they are developing. Why you don't have to struggle for your stomach. You don't have to struggle for where you are going to sleep. You're going to struggle. You are not going to stay in hold up for 4 hours like me. Your brain will be sharp to think and develop inventions. It's only this thing. And to me now, I've made up my mind. What we should do is this: as citizens, we should not wait for government again. We should do our things by ourselves. I've always advocated that. In my estate, when I got there was no electricity. I went, bought poles, bought wires, fixed electricity. There was no water. I drill borehole. I do it. I'm preparing to do my road now. You're saying now, I don't need the government for anything. When they take my tax, I say that's their own awoof. I leave it for them because I cannot say I will not pay tax. But I'm not waiting. So
we have
and go and I believe if we all have that mentality that I can survive on my own, whether they do it or not, we get somewhere someday.
Thank you. So I guess that is your parting shot. Fred, what's your own parting shot before we round up? We have just 5 minutes to round up now. What's your parting shot in 1 minute?
Find way to build the necessary capacity for them, first to survive, then 2 to create wealth. And they should also understand that not everybody have the capacity to build businesses. If you don't have the capacity to be an entrepreneur, don't go into it. Rather, they can develop their personal capacity professionally such that they can have their services hired on contract. People can outsource certain professional needs to them. And by so doing, they can grow their career to whatever field they want. For the SME people, instead of laying off their staff, I think they should sit down with them and negotiate that for these last 2 months, because of we have these were things beyond their control. There is this fallen legal requirement. There is this force majeure. They can sit with them and come to an agreement that, okay, in the last 2 months we've not been productive. Can we do pay cuts? Can we make it, accept it as your leave without payment? Then going from here, can we work, suspend payments, or can you go back home, suspend work for 1 or 2 months without payment, and at least your job is still secure. A few weeks back, you can come back when things are balanced out. So they should find way first. While they're trying to say how to salvage their businesses, they should also try to help us not to cause so much casualty in the land, because an average working Nigeria take care of an average of 12 to 15 family members, minus himself, his brothers, sisters, fathers, and mothers, and all those friends around that are not working. And then they should also rely on expertise relationship. This is not time for entrepreneurs to begin to do their know-it-all. They should look for consultant, business development consultant. They should look for investment consultant, management consultant that can come up with appropriate solutions that will enable their business thrive at this time.
Okay. Detula, your parting shot, please.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay, then
Prof. We
for
lost you the other time. You're back now.
entrepreneurs and
Okay.
SMEs, firstly, during this period, they must cut leakage. The business or the soul of any business is that there's cash. So, for no reason must they allow themselves to run out of cash. I would even advise, if need be, stop all payments, not salaries, but any commitments, renegotiate commitments. You need all the money that you can lay hands on. And I'll tell you why. Because as opportunities begin to come up, you can only take advantage of the opportunities when there's cash. Or else you will see opportunities in your business and you'll be looking at it like this and you'll be saying, I none. So anything that your bond rate, reduce it. Anything that all commitments renegotiate, keep the cash while you try to survive. That's one. Then on their people, like Mr. Feder said, it is not about sacking or not sacking. It's about having an open, sincere discussion with your staff. Let everybody know what is happening. You don't come and say you have taken a decision. Let everybody, let this not be taken by all of us, because there's what we call in management that if there's no involvement, there cannot be commitment. Involve your people as you are thinking through on way forward at this point in time. And you have to look at the human part. You can't say you are looking at the business bottom line without thinking of the human beings and the feelings that they are going through. It's difficult for everybody, but for whatever entrepreneurs can do to their staff during this period will show how committed they will be, or the people that will remain, whether they will still be committed to that business or not. They're just numbers. Then lastly, we look at your business model. Wants will not sell at this period. We have to say how we can convert our wants, or what we sell that's like wants, how we can turn it to needs for people. And so that should be what's going on. And you need your staff to be able to do this. You need ideas. You need to be able to know what we are selling now. How can we do our marketing campaign and make sure that we address the needs of people now and not just wants? Now, in doing that, sometimes you may have to unbundle your services. You may have to unbundle your products. You may have to stop some product lines and start new product lines. You may have to modify your services. You may have to add some things and partner with other things to get it done. But put on the cap of the customer. Think as if you are the customer and ask yourself, what exactly do the customer need at this point in time from me? And let's work with that. And while you're doing that, you communicate with your customers. You are not on your own. The business does not exist on its own. It exists with its customers. So you communicate with your customers and let them know. And for example, now, let me give an example. I'm into training. And in the last 2 months, we've canceled about 4 training programs with clients. We are looking at doing it online now. But even for the regular training that we are doing before, and because it's expensive, we have to rent all, we feed and everything. You could do it because, like I said, you don't want to run out of cash. So an entrepreneur, you might say, how can I reduce some of the aspect of my product or services and do as little as possible and make money from it? I'm attending a course online for free from Harvard Business School, which is very funny. The doing free course is not like them. But I discovered that for every time for the modules, it's like, let's say you have a 10 module course. They will allow you to do 2 modules course. And they will tell you, if you want to continue, then you pay. So some of us will be paying for those modules. But exactly. So where I'm going is that they put a platform where they could unbundle what they do and let people have access to it. And you break it down. So maybe it's your service that are maybe about 5,000. How can you break those services and do 1,000 so that you can just keep cash flow? And like I said, you may change services, you may change products, but think like the customer. And this is time that you need your staff. So as you're thinking of the bottom line, be open with your staff and let's use addition process to be able to get what exactly are the fillers in the market and how you can help and see yourself as you are running a course. So as long as you have that mindset, we should be able to overcome this period. And not only that, like I said, people are they are billionaires. 3 billionaires emerged in China in the last 2 weeks. In Nigeria,
can imagine now because they started it all.
Yeah, I agree with you. But these are people, the type of billions they're making is not true. Even COVID-19 induced, but it's not from other countries that are making it. Now, let's look at Nigeria. Some people are becoming multi-billionaires. Some people are the ones setting up tents. some of our friends are the one doing it. Some of people, all this rice and all that bag of rice and all
and buying rice.
Exactly. Some people are the one bagging it. Some people, all the printers, some printers are working. So what I'm trying to say now is that for every time there is a pandemic or there is a crisis, new businesses emerge, new millionaires emerge, new multimillionaires emerge. But it's either we will take advantage of those opportunities or not. And we can only do that if we are willing to think and ask ourselves, where is the money going? Because the money will keep going in circulation. So let's keep looking for where the money is going and how can we take out of that money legally. Ideas will start coming.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been a very, very enlightening moment. Viewers, I'm sure that you have really been touched and influenced directly, positively by these deliberations. We want to thank you for, finding out time to come to speak to us, even though we have not paid anything for sitting arrangement. I have learned a lot through your discussion today, not to continue digging. And I've also learned to think of what people actually want. We should not just get into sacking people at this point in time without sitting them down to negotiate or renegotiate. Mr. Shebishake, thank you for the wealth of knowledge that you have really poured into us this evening. Mr. Fred Aikatwame, thank you for all the nuggets that we have received. Mr. Abiodun Adetula, how can I thank you enough? Because all the points that you have enumerated, I believe that they are enough for those who are about starting off these SMEs to shoot with positivity as from Monday. Fortunately, we lost the prof, but we still need to thank him anyway because his points have actually been very, very valuable to our discussion. Thank you very much. God bless you and good night.
Bless you.
Yeah.